Hello, my amazing artists. We are finishing our clipper ships today. So your very first job is just to make sure you get all the Sharpie done. I have chosen to Sharpie my horizon. I've chosen to Sharpie this waterline. I'm gonna paint all the other details. If you don't want to Sharpie that horizon, that's fine. You get to choose. Sharpie, Sharpie, erase all the little pencil smudgies. And now we're moving into color, baby, color. So when you're thinking about color, like this finished one, I've got to think about where in the world I am. So what color is the water gonna be? Is it a stormy day? Is it a sunny day? The weather, the time of day. So all those things you get to choose. Also, I want you to notice that I am practicing today using watercolors, and I'm trying to kind of create some more realistic or natural colors. So we've got the same tools that you guys all have used before. We've got our little doggy dish. We've got a watercolor set, and I'm going to use my mixing tray to mix some colors. And then I have 3 different size brushes, depending on what I might need for my colors. Remember, we're also trying to create depth and value in our picture. So as we've already done a lot of this with the drawing, but today mostly I want to think about maybe the value colors are going to get further as they go, or like more faded as they go far away, a little bit lighter, a little bit waterier, and then my darker colors will be up front. So as I'm painting, one of the tips you might want to be thinking about is how do you mix some neutral colors? Like maybe I need a stormy gray. So what I like to do for a best stormy gray is take water, take some orange and blue. That's one of my favorite ways to make a good stormy kind of gray color. And sometimes you have to kind of come back around to the right color that you need. Like this one's looking a little bit green. So then maybe I need to come back with more orangey or a little more blue. So sometimes with mixing colors, you just have to get all the way around. Ooh, that's looking pretty good. Okay, so that's kind of a stormy gray. All I did was water, this orange, and then a little bit of blue. And I had to keep coming back around and add a little more blue, so it wasn't so green. So I've got this kind of stormy gray. That could be really good. There's a little more bluish. The other color that you might want to be interested in is maybe more of like a neutral brown or even like a creamy color for your sails. Your sails are going to try, I mean, if you had colored sails, that would mean that you were on a very wealthy ship because that's a lot of canvas to dye. So most ships were just white, but I'm just going to try and make kind of a creamy color. And sometimes the best way to do that is actually just to use like just a little bit of a dirty brush. So I'm mixing a little brown, a little kind of orangey. Maybe I might come in with the white. I actually don't like using white very much with my watercolors. I just like to make it lighter using water. So that's kind of the traditional way. I think I'm gonna come in with just a little yellow too. Okay, so what's tricky about watercolor too is sometimes it looks a little bit darker here than it does on my actual paper. I'm gonna show you. This looks pretty brown. But when I come in here on my sails, you can see it's actually a lot lighter than it seems here. And if it's even then too dark, this is what I'm using for my eraser, okay? So if you ever get anything where you don't want it, as I'm painting watercolors, I kind of like to have this in my hand and just dab up any places I don't really like or they got too dark. So I'm starting with my sails. You can start with anything you want. As you guys are doing the sky too. So if I'm doing something like kind of a stormy color sky, maybe you want to think about some weather. So a couple of ways to do clouds is to just paint around a place. Okay, so now I've got a little fluffy white cloud there because I've just let the paper white. That's a great way, and that's what a lot of artists do. If they need something to stay white, they just go around it, okay? You could do it that way, or if you'd rather, come in, just make sure your paper is pretty wet, like you've just painted it. Use your tissue, push hard for a couple seconds, pick it up, and then this is a little bit of a softer cloud. So you can see it's kind of got this nice little puffy edges. So this one's a little bit more bright white. This one's a little more soft and fluffy. So you can choose again, what time of day. Maybe you want to do sunset. Maybe you want to do Caribbean turquoise water, or maybe you want to do the Arctic, or maybe, you know, you get to choose what colors. Don't forget also that as you're painting any of the water, I am going to just paint right over nets. Okay, you can see through a net. So don't forget that you'll have to kind of come in here and paint over any of the rigging, paint over any of the lines, and then you can keep going out here with your water. The other thing I like to do with water sometimes is think about, maybe there's places where the water is cresting or creating a big white, like a white cap or a white splash. So as you're painting up here in front, maybe you might want to leave some of those white places. So I'm going to come in with, like, I'm just painting these little horizontal lines, or maybe I want to come up and just say everything right against the boat is going to stay kind of white. And then down here, I'm going to paint a little more water. So you can see I can leave white places like this, or I can come in and say, ooh, I'm going to just come in with like a little bit of this blue here, and the very tippy tops of those places where they're kind of on the top of the wave, we call those white caps. Like, you could leave them a little white if you wanted to. So I can't wait to see what you guys do. I'm hoping to try and remember a little bit more realistic if you can. Use your color mixing, see what you can come up with for weather and where in the world it's going to be. And by the end, we're trying to get the whole thing painted without white places, unless on purpose, right? Good luck, and I can't wait to see how they turn out.